welcome. What the fuck? A little late in the game on Friday. Quick one today. Hey, buddy. I have my friend. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Hello, baby boy. Where are we at? We premiere this Tuesday. Man, it's that time of year. We premiere this Tuesday. We have our kiss. Thank you. We premiere this Tuesday. We have our little premiere party on Saturday night. We're doing, what am I doing? I'm doing a couple things. I'm doing, for you LA folks, I'm doing Kevin and Bean Tuesday morning, some ungodly hour. And then I'll be doing the after show. That's what we're doing this year, rather than the live in-house stuff that we've done in the past. We're just doing it a little bit different. So the after show will be Chris. I'm so sorry, Chris. I still don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Frangiola? And I'm sure I'll be educated soon. And I believe from the show it'll be Jimmy Smits and Kim Coates, and our celebrity fan will be the fabulous Margaret Cho, whom I love. Margaret. I've known Margaret through friends for a while now, and always been a fan of her and of hers, and I love her. I just, I just love her ability to, communicate a strong point of view and a certain amount of consciousness through her comedy. And she's just, she's not afraid to push the envelope and to tell people how she feels. And not surprisingly, I enjoy that. So she will be on. It'll be fun. It'll be live. So what could possibly go wrong? The good news is there's no censor feed, because it's technically just the interweb. So so I can literally begin every sentence with cunt and be okay. What else? We are filming we finish episode 9 today, and we start episode 10 on Monday. We start prepping episode 11, for which I've not written one page of yet. And so we will be a wee bit late on that script. We have a writer's draft. We have we will be able to give our director the appropriate prepping materials by which they could appropriately and by union regulations do their jobs. And we finished breaking episode 12 today, and we will start breaking the finale this coming week. That's where we're at. So please spread the word about Tuesday night, and hopefully we won't be bombing Syria Tuesday afternoon, or any afternoon for that matter. Let's not just make it about my show, shall we? What else? Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Spread the word. The challenge still holds. If we increase in any capacity, any number, total households, 18 to 49, brown-haired people, people with bad shoes. We increase any of those, and I'll be showing up with somebody to annoy you at some point during the season. And I will pick that person from my Twitter feed, so if you don't follow, you're fucking out of luck. Shouldn't wear white, should I? It's not a good color for me. It looks like I'm in an institution, which perhaps is a good color for me. So here are my questions. I'll stop yakking. Our first question is from James from Chino. Fabulous. Oh, Chico. I'm sorry. Chico. California, which I think is actually near Chino. I don't know. I barely know where my fucking bathroom is.
My question is this: at what point in your life did you realize that writing or creating was your gig? Thanks.
Oh, James, that is such. It's a really long answer. I've been, my creativity had 110 incarnations during my adult life. I was an actor and I had been writing the whole time, and then went back to grad school to become I was an acting teacher in New York and a coach, and went back to grad school to get my MFA, and it was during that period that I actually started writing a lot more, and then that sort of turned into a bunch of bad plays, and ultimately a screenplay. So I guess the point at which I said, this is what I'm going to do, was after that. It was after I generated a body of work or enough material where I felt like, okay, maybe I can do this, and I had gotten enough feedback, and I had gone through the appropriate channels in terms of that process to, I'm basically, most people have a certain amount of fear, which is good, but my personality is such that I'm overwhelmed with a tremendous amount of fear at pretty much every moment in my waking existence. So, for me to actually take on the responsibility of saying, okay, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, was kind of big, and it didn't happen easily or quickly. So it really was about, I went through a 3-year period where that's all I did was write every day, and I lived hand to mouth, and was broke, but that was the period by which I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now, and ultimately, that led to a couple of smaller jobs that kept me alive, and then ultimately led me to the gig on the Shield, which I consider to be the sort of the beginning of my career. Wow, I don't know if you feel any better, James, but I do. So thank you for that question, and that's a fabulous looking headband you have on. Can't see what it says. Does it say Detroit? Okay, and so thank you for that question. And our next question is from Lauren, and I guess I'm supposed to let Lauren ask the question. So, Lauren, ask your question.
I was wondering if there was anything that you wanted to do on the show that maybe the network was like, no way, can't do it. If so, what was it?
No, there were varying degrees of violence early on in the series that I just knew I wanted to do because I had a signature and a tone that I wanted to create with this show. Meaning, what ultimately has become the signature of the show in terms of the violence and really in all capacities, there is and I'll backtrack by saying this is that I get bugged. The thing that pisses me off most about critics or critiques of work my show or anybody's show for that matter is people that don't put the time and energy into understanding what the show is and how the show tells stories. So anybody that watches my show or enough of my episodes understands that there is a thread of absurdity that runs through my show on every level, from the violence to the drama to all the characters, to the humor. I'm a big fan of the theater of the absurd. I believe that device, puts distance between the darkness and the grimness of this world, and it gives the audience an entry point. So people that don't get that, or just or are put off by the level of absurdity that runs through this show is, or people that don't watch the show or don't understand the show. And I don't mean they don't understand the show like they're not smart enough or it's so complex, because believe me, it is not. This is not The Wire. I'm very aware of that. But you do have to do the due diligence and understand how I tell stories and what the show is, I feel, to critique it appropriately. There was a moment, I think, in season 2 or season 3, when there was a critic that ultimately understood, like, oh, I get it, it's pulp, and then was able to, then his view of the show and the way he critiqued it shifted from that. And that's a guy that's, doing his job in understanding and putting the effort into what a critic is supposed to do. So I was establishing that level of violence and that level of absurdity early on. And in season 1, episode 2 or something, I had a scene where a guy got a hatchet right in his head, right? And Landgraf John, who is instrumental, obviously, in making all this happen, and a collaborator of mine, but he was very concerned early on with that level of violence and spooking people, and thought it was over the top. But for me, it was the beginning of establishing that signature of, oh my God, did they just put that guy just put a fucking hatchet in his head. And it began that sense of holy shit, which I think that ultimately has become a signature of the show. And so early on, as I was discovering that and defining that, I think the network was like, "Oh, we cut the clown, we cut the balls off a clown," So and I always use that as an example of me, wanting, like, to me, I felt like you needed to see the severed balls of a rapist clown for that moment to happen, and the network disagreed, and in that case they were absolutely right. I could, the idea of it and the level of absurdity and the level of violence was absolutely appropriate, and you did not need to see the sack hitting the ground, which is what I wanted. It's always sort of been this dance, this give, this take, this compromise. So there's never been any time where they said, no, you can't do that. There's a sense of how are you going to do that, or what is that going to look like, and and not just the violence, just in terms of even storytelling or an action sequence, just so that it stays real, that it stays organic, and I get notes from the studio and network on every script, and and it's really pretty much now it's never notes as much as it is questions and them trying to understand it, and in those questions, therein lies the dialogue that begins, and you can have a discussion about the work. Which is, really ideally the way you want to work with any collaborator, and whether that be another writer, whether that be a producer, or in this case, whether that be a studio or network. So I'm very grateful and lucky that I'm working with such intelligent people and collaborative people. I know a lot of writers that do what I do don't have that experience, and I know that I'm very clear that if I was working, that I could not exist or have not had the success that I've had if I was trying to do this job at fucking CBS or something, because there'd just be a fucking body count, and my career would be one of them. So that's it. I'm already over 15 minutes. Come here, Ike. Come here, baby. Say goodnight. Say goodnight. Kiss. 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 Fucker. No? Here. Good night.